Okay, so here that's why he has not given any length, diameter, length dimensions of the cylinders. So we'll take the length as 1 unit. So no need to define the length. So then here I have two cylinders made of two different materials. Inner cylinder having dimensions, radius. Here he has given the radius. For inner cylinder, radiuses are A and B, and for outer cylinder, the radius are B and C. A is the inner radius of inner cylinder and B is the outer radius of the inner cylinder. And for outer cylinder, B is the inner radius and C is the outer radius. So then this is a, what we'll call it as, this kind of cylinder we'll call it as a compound cylinder. So, and also you mentioned it as a bimaterial cylinder. That means the material of the cylinder 1 is different from the material of the cylinder 2. So the same thing is reflected here in material properties also. For cylinder 1, yes, given E1 is equal to 210 GPa and U1 is equal to 0.3. That means the inner cylinder is made of steel, because the Young's modulus and Poisson's ratios are the properties of the steel. And for outer cylinder, it is E2 is 70 GPa and Nu2 is 0.33, means outer cylinder is made of aluminum. So material 1 and material 2, or material 1 is steel and material 2 is aluminum. So they are made of different materials. So then this compound cylinder is subjected to, you can see the here arrows, it is subjected to an internal pressure P of 60 MPa. Internal pressure is given it as 60 MPa. So then because of this, so for this problem we want to find, or what is the aim for this problem? We have a bimaterial metallic cylinder which is subjected to internal pressure. So our goal for this problem here it is, we need to compute what is the stress distribution. So the goal is to compute the stress field. So here is given. So that means we need to find out what is the stress in this cylinder, how it is going to vary from inner radius of inner cylinder to the outer radius of outer cylinder. So we know in case of cylinders, you have three types of stresses, that is radial stress, Ohm stress and longitudinal stress, if provided if it is a thick cylinder. If it is a thin cylinder, you have only longitudinal and Ohm. But here you can see here you have a compound cylinder, so therefore definitely it is a thick cylinder. So in case of thick cylinder, you need to find out the stress field, in the sense you need to find out what is the radial stress, what is Ohm stress and what is longitudinal stress also. Okay, so for that we'll use the software again to solve this problem. Before going into the software again, so we need to look into whether there is any possibility of reducing the problem size, like in the previous problem also. Here in this problem also we have a symmetry. So now if I draw something like this, so now here actually it is a circular thing, so you can take a not only 190 1/4, you can take only sector also. If I take a sector something like this, so if I take a sector and if I revolve the sector by 360 degrees, I'll get the cylinder. So that means I can take a cyclic symmetry in this also. So instead of taking cyclic symmetry, what I'll do is I'll use plane of symmetry. So that means I'll take this portion 1/4 of this one. So that means I'll model only, so this sector, so this is inner one, so this is inner cylinder and this is the outer cylinder, this portion. So that means what I'll do is I'll use cylindrical coordinates, or else I'll use radius and angle. So here what is this angle? Angle of the sector is 90 degrees, right?
90 degrees.
So I'll create 90 degree sectors, this one and this one. So this is one sector and this is one sector of 90 degrees. To create that, what you required is, you required what is inner radius and what is outer radius. So because here both are hollow, this is hollow only, this is also hollow, you required what is inner radius for the both the, and what is the outer radius for inner cylinder as well as outer cylinder. So yeah, as given already dimensions are given. So for inner radius for this inner cylinder, it is A inner radius, which is 175 mm, and outer radius for inner cylinder is B, which is 200 mm. That is also given. Then come to the outer cylinder, that is which is made of aluminum. Inner radius for that is B, which is 200 mm again, and outer radius for the outer cylinder is C, which is 225 mm. So
225 mm.
Using these dimensions, will create two sectors with this inner and outer radius. Then you need to define the material 1 for the inner cylinder, that is material 1 which is steel, and material 2 which is aluminum for the outer cylinder. Then you need to apply the load here. Then you need to solve it. Before that, we need to create the FE model also. So then I'll go to the software and how we can solve this problem. Then I'll show you step by step. Okay. So I'll minimize this PPT. Then I'll open the software interface. So it look like this. So then, since it is again plane strain problem, similarity or plane stress, so we need to select the same element which is used for the plane stress analysis. Only thing is, what you have to do is, in the previous problem we selected 8 node 183 only. Here also we'll select the 8 node 183 only for the plane analysis, whether it is plane stress or plane strain or axis symmetry. So how we can define that? So in the options, we'll specify the element behavior. So in the previous problem here, we have taken this one as plane stress with thickness, but now what we need to do is, we need to select plane strain option for this. So you need to select the element behavior as plane strain, then click OK, then close. So this is the element what we need to select for this analysis. Then no need to define any real constants or sections, because we are taking unit thickness means default value that. So then
సార్ మనల్ని కనుక్కోమంది కంప్యూటర్ స్ట్రెస్ ఫీల్డ్ కదా, మనం స్ట్రెయిన్ తీసుకున్నాం కదా ఇప్పుడు.
కనుక్కోమంది స్ట్రెస్ ఫీల్డే, నువ్వు కనుక్కునేది కూడా స్ట్రెస్ ఫీల్డే. బట్ వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ ప్లేన్ స్ట్రెయిన్ అప్రోచ్? What do you mean by approach and plane strain approach? In case of plane stress, you have only sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. Other stresses are zero values, right?
Okay, sir.
In case of plane strain problem, what you have is, you have epsilon x, epsilon y, and gamma xy. That means you have strains in only a plane. The strains in the outer of the plane are going to be zero. So that doesn't mean that you don't have stress values. You have a stress values. So plane strain means, so the strains are only non-zero values in the given plane. In xy plane, the strains are there. Epsilon x will be there, epsilon y is there, and gamma xy is there. If you don't take plane strain, if you take general problem, you have 6 strains and 6 stresses, right?
Yes, sir.
Sigma x, sigma y, sigma z, tau xy, tau yz, tau zx. 6 stresses.
Zx.
Similarly, you have 6 strains. Epsilon x, epsilon y, epsilon z, 3 normal strains, gamma xy, gamma yz, gamma zx, 3 shear strains, 3 shear strains, 3 normal strains and 3 shear strains. So in case of plane strain approach, you have only strains pertaining to the plane. That means you have only epsilon x, epsilon y, and gamma xy. That means the strains which are pertaining to a xy plane. So the strains which are in yz and xz plane, they are zeros. That's why you have epsilon z, gamma yz, gamma zx are zero. So because of those are zero, you don't have, you don't think that there won't be any strain. So they don't think that there won't be any stress field. Stress will be there. Sigma x will be there. Sigma y will be there. Sigma z is also there. That's why I said you need to calculate what is radial stress, what is hoop stress, what is longitudinal stress. That means stresses are there in all the 3 directions. So
okay,
only thing is, this is the approach what you are using. That means you don't think that you don't have stresses in plane strain approach. The stresses will be there.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why, see, beginning lo cheppanu egenti, when start previous problem we are taking it as a plane stress approach. Plane stress approach in the sense, you have only sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. Other stresses values, sigma z, tau yz, tau zx, they are zeros. If you do the analysis, you will get those stress values zeros only. So in case of plane strain, strain values are zeros in a plane which is perpendicular to the given plane. So then you have, say, epsilon z, epsilon yz, epsilon zx, they are zeros. So, but
Yes,
stresses will be there. So, stress won't be sigma z is not zero here. In case of plane stress, you have sigma z zero, but plane strain you don't. Your sigma z is not equal to zero. So, you'll get a stress value, non-zero value. So, that is the difference between plane stress and plane strain. In both the cases, you have strains and stresses, but only thing is depending upon the type of analysis, type of the given conditions. In order to have plane stress condition, that means your sigma z zero, your plate should be a thinner one, thickness should be small, then only the sigma z is equal to zero condition is valid. These are all assumptions only. In order to provide
Okay.
plane strain means epsilon z is zero. When the epsilon z is going to be zero, so if the z direction we are taking the length as the z direction. If the length is very large, so delta L is small. What happened to the delta L by L? If you have a cylinder having a large length, then delta L is going to be small because you are applying the load in the direction perpendicular to the length direction. So the change in length of the cylinder is very small. So the delta L by L, then that is the strain in the longitudinal direction. Delta L by L, which is going to be constant or zero. If it is zero, that's why we are calling it as a plane strain approach. Strain is zero, that's why in the direction perpendicular to the applied load plane. So that's why we are calling it as plane strain. So don't think that for plane strain you don't have stress values. Okay?
Okay.
Right. So we selected the element type. So once you select element type is plane 183. So after selecting that plane 183, you need to select the option as plane strain approach. Element behavior as plane strain approach. So then you need to define the material properties. So we have two cylinders which are made of two different materials. Therefore, I need to define two material properties. So I'll go for material properties, then material models. Then, since we are doing structural analysis, I need to define the materials for the structural analysis: linear, elastic, isotropics. Because our materials are linear, elastic, isotropic. So he has given Young's modulus as 210 GPa. I'll take all the dimensions are in mm. Radiuses are given in mm. So I'll convert that GPa into MPa. So then it becomes 210 into E3. Then the Poisson's
Yes, sir.
ratio is given it as 0.3. So okay.
Yes, sir.
So then see, you can see you are have a material model number one. Under that material model number one, you have defined this material, which is having Young's modulus of 210 E3 and 0.3 Poisson's ratio. Then I need to create one more material model for the outer cylinder, which is aluminum. So for that, what I need to do is I need to click on material, click on new model. So automatically define material ID number. It will take default numbering. It is taken 2. Earlier already 1 is there. So default it will increment by 1. So it will take it as 2. Or if you want to give some other number instead of 2. If you want to give 3 or 4, you can give it here. But I'll take 2 only because I have only two materials. I'll give 2 number here. Then for this model number, then I need to add this isotropic properties. So which is having Young's modulus of 70 GPa.
70 GPa.
70 E3. Then Poisson's ratio is given it as 0.33. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I'll define those two. So then, so under this, these materials will be defined. So for material 1 is for steel. What we define? Young's modulus and Poisson's ratio of steel we define under material 1. And Young's modulus and Poisson's ratio of aluminum we define under material 2. So therefore, while defining the materials for the inner and outer cylinders, we need to take care of those two. Okay, so once you define these attributes, then we'll create the geometry first. So geometry is nothing but a sectors here. So sector of 90 degrees, 2 sectors. So for that, what I do is I'll go for create circles. I'll go for areas, then circle. Then what I do is I'll use this y dimensions option. So if I use that one, see it is asking for outer radius, it is asking for inner radius. What is the starting angle? What is the ending angle also? So that will satisfy my criteria. I have a data. I have inner radius, I have outer radius, I have, and I want only 90 degree sector. So therefore, using this option, I can give the data which is available to me. For inner cylinder, what is the outer radius? Outer radius is 200 mm. And inner radius is 175 mm.
175 mm.
If you look into the given data problem, then start angle is 0, end angle I'll take it as 90 degrees because I want
90 degrees.
90 degree sector. click apply or OK. So if we click apply, what happens is it will create one sector, and still this dialog box is under active mode. So if I click OK, see now that is created. So one sector of 90 degrees is created with a given inner and outer radii. Then I'll go for the next one also, outer side. What is the outer radius for the next one? Second cylinder, outer radius is 225. Inner radius is
Yes, sir.
200.
200.
200. Then I'll use click OK. So then I have two inner radius and outer radius is created. Sorry, inner cylinder and outer cylinders are created. So, but since we are creating these areas differently, not as a single one, so we need to define some contact between these two cylinders. So this is one cylinder and this is another cylinder. So, but we need to define the contact between these two cylinders. So means we need to define the relation between these two. Whenever I apply a pressure to this inside of the cylinder, these two cylinders will move as a single one. So to define that, what I'll do is I need to glue these two cylinders at the interface. So to do that, I'll go for operate, booleans, then glue. Glue, what I need to glue is this is one area and this is another area. I need to select areas options. I need to select these two areas. Click OK. Okay. Then I'll go for meshing. So I'll click on mesh tool. So first I'll set number of divisions I want to on this one. So since thickness of each cylinder is 25 mm, I'll take 4 mm as my element division, or I'll take 2 mm as edge length. Click OK. Then what I need to do is I need to set two different materials for inner cylinder as well as for the outer cylinder. First I'll select I want to mesh inner cylinder, so that the material for the inner cylinder is material 1. So I will set that material here under element attributes. If I click it, your element is plane 183 only, material number is 1, so which is steel. So I'll take the default value because for inner cylinder it is made of steel only. Then I'll go for meshing. I'll click mesh. Then I'll select only inner cylinder. I'll click OK. So now the inner cylinder is meshed. So that means the geometry is converted into FE mode. Then I need to mesh the outer cylinder also. Before going for the meshing, I need to change the material for the outer cylinder. Outer cylinder is made of material 2, which is aluminum. I'll select that. Then I'll click OK. Then I'll go for mesh. Now I'll select the second area. Click OK. So now both are meshed. So if you want to see whether you have two different materials or not, so you can check that also here. Like I showed in the previous problems, go for numbering. Here instead of no numbering, here you can give material numbers. So then click OK. See, you can see here this is showing one color and this is showing other color. If I zoom it, you can see the numbers also for those materials. So I'll zoom it here somewhere. See, this blue color is numbered as 1, that is material 1. This purple color or pink color is numbered as 2. So that means, so we define the material properties properly for inner and outer cylinders. So now I'll switch off that numbering so that you can clearly see that. So or else here what you can see, I'll use only colors instead of numbers. I'll use only colors 1 and 2. So now these inner cylinder elements are shown one color and outer cylinder elements are shown in another color. Okay, right. So once you mesh that, then you need to apply the loads and boundary conditions. So for that, I'll go to load, define loads, apply, structural, displacement. Here also what I did is I have taken the symmetry. So I need to apply symmetry to these lines and these lines. Because I have a full cylinder, I have taken only 1/4 of the cylinder. So this vertical line and this horizontal lines, I need to apply the symmetry for that. So to do that, symmetry boundary condition on lines, I'll select these two lines and here also these two lines. Then click OK. So now automatically it put a letter SSS here saying that symmetry boundary conditions are applied to these lines. Then I'll apply the internal pressure. So go to the pressure. Where I need to apply is only inner radius. Inner radius is nothing but a line here. I'll apply pressure on lines. I'll select inner radius of inner cylinder. Then the pressure value he has given it as 60 MPa. I'll take it as 60. I'll click OK. See, you can see it is putting a red arrow here showing that you are applying a pressure to the inner cylinder. So that's it. So once you've done all these things, your pre-processing is over. Then we need to go for solution phase and we need to solve the problem. If you click OK, then it will solve for you. It will take some time because we are given very small fine mesh, very fine mesh. So it will okay. Anyway, to solve it now, solution done is shown here. Okay, right. So once solution is over, then we need to go for post process to extract the results. So even though you asked only stress field, we'll plot the displacement also. So that means what is the radial displacement? That means at each radius, what is the displacement in the radial direction? See here, since it is a cylinder, we will work with the cylindrical coordinate system. So far, what we solve, all the problems we solved using Cartesian coordinate system. So now we'll extract the results in cylindrical coordinate system. To extract the results other than Cartesian coordinate system, what we need to do is we need to use this options for output. Under that, the result coordinate system is default is global Cartesian. So now I'll change this one to cylindrical. So then whatever results I extract now, it will display the results in cylindrical coordinate system. Now I'll go for plot results, contour plot, then nodal solution, degree of radial solution. Radial displacement is nothing but x component of displacement. So now if I plot it, you can see it is uniform contours are there. So that means it is immaterial whether you are using a partial cylinder or a full cylinder because it is independent of angle. You can see that where the theta is equal to 0 and theta is equal to 90, you are at the given radius, you have a same displacement. The radial displacement is same. So therefore, it is independent of theta. So that means whatever value you got it is, so the blue color indicates outer radius and red color is at the inner radius. You have maximum radial displacement at the inner radius of inner cylinder and minimum radial displacement at this one. If you look at the interface, you can take this point, both are having equal same dimension, same radial displacement. So you need to capture this one using this plot control option, capture image option. Then you need to keep this one in your record. So then similarly, I'll go for stress distribution also. I'll go for stress. The x component of stress is nothing but a radial stress. I'll plot it. And then similarly, y component of displacement, so y component of stress also we need to plot it. We can plot that also. Plot results, nodal solution, x component of stress. Okay, so I think there is a problem with this laptop here in this software is not working. So like in previous problem also we are not able to see the solution. So for the results, so you won't get it here, but you can plot it. So once you solve that with your laptop, you can get the results. So here it is not plotting. There may be some problem with this laptop. So that's why it is not showing the results values here. Anyway, so once you have done that, then we want to plot the values also. For that, what I need to do is I want to plot how the stress is going to vary from inner radius to outer radius. So for that, what I'll do is I'll use this path operations here. If you go for path operations, first I need to define the path along which I want to plot the stress values. Define path. What I'll use is in these options, I'll select by location option. I'll give the name of the path as some stress path. Then I'll click OK. I need to define 2 points for the path. That means what is the starting point of the path and what is the ending point of the path. Starting point, I'll take this point, that is the inner radius, and ending point is going to be the outer radius of the outer cylinder. So first point, I'll give the first point location is nothing but what is the inner radius of the inner cylinder, which is 175. Of course, I'll give y and z values are zeros. Click OK. Then I need to define what is the second one also. Second point, I'll take it as outer radius of outer cylinder, which is nothing but 225, 0, 0. Click OK. Then once you define point 1 and 2, then you need to click cancel. Then you need to map. Once you define the path, you need to map that. You need to map the results to this path. So first, I want to map radial stress. I'll give the label as rad str, and radial stress is nothing but x-axis direction. I'll use x direction. Click OK. So then it will take it. Then similarly, I need to take hoop stress. Then I need to add SY as the hoop stress. I'll click OK. Then I need to longitudinal stress. Then I need to take the last one, longitudinal stress. Then you need to add Z as a longitudinal stress. Click OK. So then once you've done all those things, then what you do is you can go for plot path item and then plot on graph here. So you will get the list here. So because the result is not available here, it is not showing here. If you will get a list here, and if you select those values here, you can click OK. Then you will get a graph something like this. So it will give the labels also, corresponding labels also, how the stresses are going to vary with respect to radius. So inner radius is taken as 0, outer radius is 50. That means across the thickness, total cylinder thickness is 50 mm. Inner cylinder thickness is 25 mm and outer cylinder thickness is 25 mm. So it is going to vary something like this. So you can plot, you can map the displacement also, map onto the path, degrees of freedom solution. I'll take translation x. So I'll call this one as radial displacement, Then I'll map this also. I can plot that also. So if I go for this radial displacement, I'll click OK. See how the radial displacement is going to change with respect to the thickness. Inner radius, it is this value, outer radius is going to be this value. So like that, you'll get the values. You can plot on the graph also. Okay. See, I'll check once again why it is not listing these results. I don't know why there is a software problem in this. Actually, I need to get the values, stress values. It is not listing. Requested data is not available. So I don't know why it is available. Maybe I need to change the license type. I'll check that also. Then if that is the case, what type of license I have? Anyway, I'll stop the recording right now and then I'll check it whether it will work out or not.